We needed to survive this. And while a quick choice on my behalf might help us in the short term, I didn't plan on dying anytime soon. Important decisions were going to have to wait. Shit. I wished Mason wasn't traveling for work again. Maybe if he'd had the kids this weekend. Taking a breath, I shook my thoughts away from my ex-husband. Right now, I had to analyze what was happening. Had the apocalypse really come? I tried to push open the entry doors and groaned. They were controlled by electricity. Shit. You two, around the corner. Wisp, stay with your brother. It probably added to the gravity of the situation that Wisp didn't even argue as I lowered her to the ground. Glass fucking doors weren't going to stop me. I walked over to one of the displays. This month was for ecological awareness and highlighted the dangers of construction close to protected habitats. There were several bricks scattered around it. I remember thinking it was a bit gimmicky, but now I had never been so glad of a promotional tactic in my life. Hefting one of the bricks in my hand, I took aim, heralding back to that one season I played softball, and heaved the block right at the glass next to the doors. The noise would have woken the dead if any had been around. Oh no. Had I jinxed myself now? Were zombies going to appear too? Breathe, Kira. Just breathe. Shit. I get it, brain. Things are confusing, but I needed to get myself together and stop with the panicking. As the last of the glass clattered down, I turned and beckoned the kids. Wisp was properly awake now, her pale face scared but determined. She clung to my hand, gripping it like I was a lifeline. We have 35 minutes left, Mom. We have to get your class chosen. We have to pick our perks. Jackson was just quietly urging, but it was all I could do to not snap at him. I knew I had to, even if the whole concept sounded absurd. Since when did the entire world turn into a bloody computer game? 25 minutes ago, my helpful brain offered. We stepped onto the path outside the science building. The wrongness of the air and of the bush around us hit me immediately. I could feel something. The same way I could tell a bushfire was coming before the smell reached me. Only this was different. This was more dangerous, altering, devastating. We needed to get to the car as soon as possible, which meant cutting through the campus and around to Park Road. Any guesses? I asked the question quietly to buy time, and Jackson obliged with an answer. I don't know. I've never seen a game like this. And frankly, if it can insert itself into our minds, I have to think it's not just a game. I have to think we've been taken over by aliens. His expression didn't change or twitch. He was dead serious, and I knew deep down he was also right. Maybe. The idea of aliens was insane. Then again, so was the idea of a game system world. Either way, this was outside of any game visuals I'd ever seen. I nodded, not trusting myself to speak and still be strong enough for my kids right now. Half an hour left of this system initiation. Maybe I could get us back home and we could all just sit down in the safety of our own four walls and figure this out. We wove among the buildings, along the paths, the breeze blowing the gum leaves in such a way I could smell the scent strongly. If I strained my ears, I swore I could hear the teeth of the koalas as they chewed their food, but that was just my overactive imagination. All of the buildings held soft blue glows, even down to the fountain close to the quad where the students preferred to eat on sunny summer days. There were koi in there, but I wasn't particularly interested in taking a peek. No one else was here this late. I hadn't even glimpsed Steve or Jane. They'd usually be on rounds about now. A shadow passed us on the path we were taking, rodent-like, yet larger than it had any right to be. My breath tried to stick in my throat, and the look Jackson shot me told me I hadn't been seeing things. I'd always loved the campus for its place in the middle of the bush, yet as we neared the car park and more creatures began to slither or creep close to us, I wished I'd taken that job at the uni in the city instead.